Hello ladies, Laurel Houston here with Body Mapping. It is spring break, so I'm a little behind, but I want to say welcome to all of those of you who are not currently enjoying spring break. And for those of you who fall into that category, I encourage you to take one anyways. I live down in southern Utah in St. George, and it is currently 80 degrees outside, so I've been outside playing with my kids all morning. Um, and it really got me thinking about what video I wanted to do today. And I made I wanted to do several different videos all about the parts of your body that deal with relationships and how those relationships um, and the way that you are having that relationship, how it affects your body. So I wanted to start with joints because joints are all over your body. So you have joints in your fingers, your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders, um, your hips, your knees, your ankles, and all of these different places are, hey Ginger, all of these different places are literal connections. And so anytime there is something going on with a relationship, it is going to also manifest in your body in a joint. So for those of you who have never joined before and are like, what is she talking about? Let me explain what body mapping is really quickly. So body mapping is something that after 20 years of experience of working with people, anatomy and physiology, psychology, communication, and reading a ton of books, I created body mapping. And it is based on the fact that every part of you can be measured with another part of you. So when something is in proportion versus out of proportion, it tells me something about you. And the most beautiful part of all is that my body will never properly measure your body. So when something is in proportion versus out of proportion, uh, it tells me things about you and it tells me things about me. So there are two parts to body mapping. One is the personality and kind of the more profiling type part of it. And the other part of it is when I talk about messages, otherwise known as symptoms. So I do not believe symptoms of the body to be good or bad or right or wrong. They're just messages. And when we listen to our body, the messages come and then we hear them and we take action on them and then they go away. So I wanted to really talk for a moment about relationships because the word relationship actually means a connection between two things. Hey, Brooke. And so usually when we think of relationships, we think about people. And I, and some of you are like, no, I've got really good relationships right now. And some of you are like, relationships, what are those? So I want to invite you to broaden your perspective about what a relationship is. A relationship is about connection. So actually right now for some of you, the relationships that are suffering the most are not actually with people. They're with time, they're with money, they're with resources, they're with balance, they're with all of these other things that you have completely disconnected yourself from. What is your relationship like with your own body? So I am planning for the next 4 or 5 weeks, we'll see how many it takes, to do short videos that are all about relationships, otherwise known as connections, between you, your body, your money, other people, and intimacy. Because those are really the main places that women struggle to improve. So this week we are going to talk about your physical connections on your body, which are joints. So if you have shoulder pain, knee pain, hip pain, fingers on your actual knuckles, a lot of people who have problems with arthritis, it is about their relationships. So an example of this, your lower arm right here in body mapping is about your ability to lift yourself. Your hand is about creation. So your wrist is what creates your ability to lift yourself with your creations. So when you feel like the things that you create have no value, it will show up in your wrist. It will make you feel like nothing I do matters. Or if you're overworked, if you are constantly doing things, but they don't lift you or fulfill you, think about how many people have carpal tunnel because they type all day long in a job that they hate. And so they are disconnected from what their hands are creating. It doesn't lift them, it doesn't support them, it doesn't help them feel alive. So something like that would show up as wrist pain or tenderness. And if there's anger around having to do that task, it'll actually show up as inflammation, because anger in the body is inflammation. So that is why I wanted to talk about joints, because they connect two parts of your body. So like your wrist connects your hand with your lower arm, your elbow connects your ability to lift yourself with your ability to lift other people, your upper arm. Your shoulders connect your limbs with your torso. So think my ability to reach out to others versus the core of who I am. If you feel like you're constantly surrounded by people, resources, or things that are sucking life from you rather than adding to you, that's going to be shoulder pain. You're going to have problems with rotation and movement. Individual knuckles. I'm not going to go through every individual finger because I have done a video on fingers, but if you look at your hand and you realize that there's just one finger that's having joint pain, then go see what that finger means and realize, okay, I'm feeling disconnected from that part of my life, from my ability to have details and reach out to other people. Hips are all about progression, and hips are what attach your legs, your ability to progress forward, with the core of who you are. So when you feel emotionally stuck, mentally, physically, spiritually, socially stuck, that's going to come in a form of hip pain. If you are procrastinating, that's going to affect your hips and your knees. And I'll tell you right now, I'll give you a little hint. One of the main reasons that people procrastinate is because they have a fear of rejection. And so if you are refusing to move forward, it's going to affect your hips. And knees, I've done several videos on knees, but just to reiterate, knees are about your connection to your higher power, and they're also about your connection to your own value system. Calves are the muscle in our body that lifts us higher. When you go up on your tiptoes, you're actually using your lower leg muscles to do that. And so your knees are what connect your values and your standards to your ability to progress and move forward, your upper legs. Then you have your ankles. Your ankles are all about direction and desire. If you don't know what you want, hold on, I'm going to close my window. Somebody's mowing their lawn. If you don't know what you want, it is really hard to know if you're headed in the right direction. And so confusion, your unwillingness to make a decision, that's going to show up in your ankles. Okay, so I've just named a couple of them, but I want you to realize when you feel disconnected, what is that going to do to your relationships? What is that going to do to the way you feel about your body? Because if every joint you have is aching because your heart is aching and yearning for something else, and you continue to not listen to that, um, it's going to push away people, it's going to push away money, it's going to make you feel isolated, and your joints are going to ache more. So I want to just kind of put this little piece here in the beginning, um, because this is one of several areas that your relationships with other people, with money, with sex, with your actual body, are you listening to your body and what it's telling you to? This is one of the places that it shows up a lot, is in the literal connections in your body. The other part of that is connective tissue. So I don't usually talk about internal organs and that kind of stuff, but I do want to, I'm not sure who needs this, but there's someone who's either watching or will watch that needs to know about connective tissue. It's called connective tissue, which means its sole purpose is to take two things and make them speak. And I say speak because if it is the two parts of your body that aren't communicating properly, or if it is what those two parts of your body mean, the connection is off. And there's a question that you need to say. Why do you feel unheard? So is it your body that feels unheard, or is it an actual person that feels unheard? So as far as connections go, I would love to have you actually pick a place in your life, a relationship in your life that you didn't realize you had completely neglected. Time, money, intimacy, your body, nature is another connection, food is another connection. Obviously, people are other connections. Uh, Resources that you had access to that you no longer have access to. If you do not have what you want, then you lack a relationship with it. And I want to teach you how to create that relationship. So, like I said, this is going to be multiple short videos. This is video number 1. And one of the things that I would love for you to do, and if you're willing, post it in the chat. What relationship do you want to work on? And there is no judgment here. So when people post money, you're going to be just as excited for them as when people say, my husband, my child, sex, nature, food, my higher power. Get excited and decide, because over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to show you how that is going to really change in a very powerful way your body's health as well as the actual relationship, because relationships are about connections. And when two things are disconnected, it shows up in the body. So cool. Allison's going to work on time. Time is something so many people are disconnected from. Um, and if it's a specific person and you're like, I don't want to admit it, you can just say a person and you'll know who that person is. But I'm hoping that this will be something that is really fun for you ladies and something that's very valuable for you, because I'm actually going to walk you through one of the number one questions that I get asked, and that is how to improve my relationship with blank. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't actually matter what the blank is. The process is still the same. I have worked with thousands of women with personal mentoring and in group mentoring. I know this process, and so it will be beautiful. Brooke said money. Oh, money is so fun. Money is a fun one to work with. So we are going to be going over the physical messages that are trying to help you and prompt you in this way. And then we are actually going to go through steps to improve your relationships. So I know that I'm not at my normal time. I'll be honest. I've been on spring break for, probably about 4 days now, and I forgot it was Monday. So thank you for showing up anyway and being patient. When you catch this on the replay, let me know that you saw the replay, and then tell us what relationship you're going to be working on. And I will see you next Monday for your first, I don't want to call it a challenge because it's not a challenge, just for your first tool, for your first step to really help you fix that relationship, gain the connections that you're wanting. I love you. Have a fabulous day.